Thank you, Amanda. That was great. I think we're really beginning to get a picture of how exceptional the Lilongwe Wildlife Trust is and the work that it does in Malawi. And as part of Tusk's overall portfolio of supporting some 60-odd conservation projects across Africa, we are and we remain big believers in the value of conservation education. Last year alone, we supported 8 individual environmental education centres and numerous additional schools via Tusk's Pan-African Conservation Education Programme, an initiative which in itself has reached over 500,000 children and students across 35 countries in Africa. But Tusk is in the business of conservation, and as this quote says so eloquently, in the end, we'll conserve only what we love, we will love only what we understand, and we will understand only what we are taught. So the challenge is to inspire people to care and to act. And of course, this is no easy task when these are the types of challenges that you're faced with on a daily basis. Wildlife can seem so far away and so irrelevant. And for those living side by side with wildlife, it's hard to see its value when elephants and hippos are trampling your crops or lions are killing your goats and sheep. But we know, as Michael pointed out earlier, that protecting a country's natural heritage is critical to the survival and prosperity of both the people and its wildlife. Conservation is no longer, or can no longer be, just the preserve of the rich. Conservation is about people. Tusk has been proud to support the Lilongwe Wildlife Trust's education programme since 2011. This impressive initiative now reaches a staggering 32,000 students a year across Malawi, informing and inspiring the next generation to value wildlife and the benefits of sustainable living. Statistically and anecdotally, it's a highly successful programme, and it covers a range of topics, including ours today, wildlife crime. There is obviously an enormous value in deterring youth away from a life of poaching or getting involved in the illegal wildlife trade. However, the Lilongwe Wildlife Trust is also working hard to engage and sensitise another important audience in the fight against wildlife crime. The lawmakers, the police, we've heard from Wellington the excellent work that he's been doing, the customs and border officials, as well as the judiciary and community enforcement networks. Their support and understanding of the issues are critical to ensure this form of crime remains at the top of the political agenda, and the law is properly enforced and the penalties remain heavy. All that said, we want to focus this part of tonight on the youth, because they have played such an important role in raising awareness about wildlife crime within Malawi. So many of these young activists have shown how fervently they care about their nation's natural heritage. They write and perform poems, drama, tell stories and sing songs about their forests and wildlife. They seem to entirely grasp that we are at a crossroads and that without instant, resolute action, the only rhinos and elephants or lions that they'll be showing to their children could be in the history books. The Malawi youth marched for the UN's first ever World Wildlife Day in March 2014. And at the launch of Malawi's Stop Wildlife Crime campaign as well, a joint initiative between Lilongwe Wildlife Trust and the Malawi government. They also participated in the Global March for Elephants and Rhinos in October that same year, presenting 3,500 signatures that they'd collected to the Minister of Tourism. And then, at the 2015 World Wildlife Day, the first ever wildlife event to be attended by any president in the history of Malawi, the children had hoped to watch the making of more history with the torching of 4.2 tons of ivory that was piled up on the hills above Parliament. The very request that they had included in their petition the previous year. Now, sadly, that was not to be. The burn was cancelled at the last minute. But in August the same year, when the President launched the Malawi Parliamentary Conservation Caucus, the stars of the show were unsurprisingly the children who presented His Excellency with two futures to choose from, one with and one without wildlife. The President liked it so much that he asked for a copy to be sent to his office. Another example of youth activism was here in London, when this brave young Malawian girl, Ngani Malawezi, stood up at the last Elephant March with a message for Theresa May, urging her to close the UK's domestic ivory markets. Something was still sadly waiting to happen. So every voice counts, and these campaigns have engaged the hearts and the minds of a whole spectrum of individuals across Malawi. And I'm proud that Tusk is able to support, and will no doubt continue to support, the vital education work that LWT continues to do so effectively. And I'm also proud to be part of this evening to demonstrate how valuable the coalition of all our organisations is in supporting the work of such an exceptional organisation. Now, it's my great pleasure to honour and welcome His Excellency Kena Mphonda, the Malawi High Commissioner, to the stage. But before His Excellency comes up here, he's very kindly agreed to speak at quite short notice on behalf of the musician Lawi, who sadly was unable to make it to London this evening. And as a long-standing ambassador of LWT, we had hoped that he'd be here to speak of his work to inspire young people in Malawi. However, he has sent us this short video message.
Hello everyone, my name is Lawi. I'm a musician, but also an ambassador for Lilongwe Wildlife Trust. I am sorry that I didn't make it to London this time. We have been working so hard to get my visa approved, but unfortunately, time has run out. This project is very close to my heart. I have been working with Lilongwe Wildlife Trust since 2015, and I would have loved to share my story in person with you. I look forward to making it next time. I would like to say a big thank you to His Excellency Mphonda for stepping in the last minute. And thank you to you also for coming out. Please do come and visit us in the warm heart of Africa, and also get to meet the lovely people who are working so hard in protecting our wildlife. Thank you very much, and Zigo Mwambiri.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome His Excellency.
Your Highness, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored, as you did here, to stand here today in place of Lawi, one of our most famous musical exports, to talk about his efforts to support the fight against wildlife crime in Malawi, a cause that is also very close to my heart. Lawi has used his music to inspire people to care about our nation's wildlife that we are so close to losing forever, and to bring conservation messages to life in his own unique way. Malawians are proud, warm-hearted people, even in the face of the daily challenges many of them face. But once people start thinking and talking about wildlife, and in the right way, you discover there is such passion out there. Because one thing that we can immensely be proud of is our natural heritage. People flock from all over the world to see our beautiful wildlife. Here in London, you can see an elephant in the zoo. But this is not where elephants or indeed any wild animals belong. Nothing compares to seeing elephants walking by the river, living side by side with the other wild animals in such beauty and splendor. I understand that Lawi has volunteered hours of his time out in the communities to raise awareness at a grassroots level, performing at wildlife events, or going deep into rural areas with education teams, working in his studio with the children to compose songs and poems about elephants, or speaking out on the television and indeed on the radio. Here on the slide is at the launch of the President's film supporting the Stop Wildlife Crime campaign undertaken by LWT. I think an issue that my colleague did mention earlier in terms of becoming an actor. And he also did mention, to use his own word, that we did watch part of this as we were imbibing. I think that's the word that was used. As a child, Lawi lived just an hour's bike ride from Lilongwe National Park, where he once saw an elephant. Then just last year, he was invited back there to experience the world's largest elephant translocation. He said it was one of the best experiences of his life. Lawi was one of the very lucky ones, but fortunately, thanks to the power of the modern media, there are other ways these experiences can be shared with others. He has been working on a special project with the LWT team to make a short, simple film for a Malawian audience set 60 years in the future. None of those featured in the film have acted before, and the cast even includes Lawi's cousin and grandfather, and was shot right in the village. It was only finished this week, so this is in fact the film's premiere. In the coming months, it shall be aired on national television and taken to communities around protected areas on LWT's pedal power cinema. Storytelling is such an important part of Malawian culture, and so much of our folklore involves animals. There's a certain amount of respect for the natural world. There is little talk of conservation, because the general view has been that nature would never end. This is a view we need to challenge and change, and it is the main message of this film. Perhaps as you're watching it, you can transport yourself from this beautiful hotel in Soho. I heard a number of people saying that it's indeed very beautiful. And imagine that you're a Malawian living in one of those remote villages with no power, sitting cross-legged under the stars, seeing an elephant for the first time ever.
Kale kale zidaliko zimphona zinkayenda momasuka munthaka yomweyi zazikulu zochititsa chidwi koma tidazipha zonse. Ife tisanabwere njovu zinalipo. Zinali zolengedwa zopambana nyama zina zilizonse. Zimayenda momasuka ndipo timakhala nazo limodzi. Zinkateteza nkhalango ndi nyama zina zonse. Koma titazidulira nkhalango yomwe zimakhalamo, zinkabwera kumunda kuzafunafuna chakudya. Aka kanali komaliza kuona njovu. Ndinabwerera kumudzi kukawauza bambo anga za zimene ndidaona. Usiku umenewo amuna anapita kukathamangitsa njovu. Bambo anga anali oyamba pa njovu. Kuchokera tsiku limenelo tapha zolengedwa zambiri. Poyamba tinkazipha pofuna kuteteza mbewu. Kenaka pofuna kugulitsa minyanga yake. Koma kupha njovu kulabweretsa umasiye umene ndalama zingathe kubwezeretsa. Tinapha njovu posinthanitsa minyanga yake ndi ndalama kwa zigawenga. Koma ndalamazo zinapita m'matumba anthu andale ndi achinyengo. Ndi ndalamazo zigawenga zinakula nazo mfuti ndikumavulaza nazo anthu. Anabweretsa umbanda m'mizinda ndipo imfa inawatsatira. Chakudza sichimba ng'oma. Mulungu anatipatsa malo kuti tiwasamalire. Koma tinakanika. Tsopano zidzukulu zathu zidzaonanso njovu. Ndidzangowauza kuti kalelo kunali zimphona.
Njovu ndi chuma chokuya chimene takhala nacho m'dziko muno, ndipo ngati sitingathe kuchisamalira sitidzakhalanso ndi chuma cha mtundu wotere m'dziko lapansi. Zimathandizira umoyo wathu m'njira zambiri. Alendo amachokera maiko osiyanasiyana kubwera kudzaona chuma cha mtengo wapatali chimenechi. Komanso pali njira zina zambiri zimene sitingathe kuzimvetsa, zimene njovu zimathandiza kusamalira nyama zina za m'nkhalango. Ngati sitisamala njovu lero, mibadwo ina yobwera m'tsogolomo, makamaka ana amene akubadwa lero, podzafika zaka zokwanira 20 sadzatha kuona njovu.